My incredibly selfish husband completely drained my urgent medical surgery fund just to buy himself a ridiculously expensive illegal street racing motorcycle. I found out at 6:14 a.m. on a Wednesday, standing in my kitchen in my socks, coffee going cold, 2 days before my pre-op appointment. The account that was supposed to say $27,612 said $186.40. I refreshed the app 4 times like the number might fix itself. It didn't. One withdrawal, 3 days earlier, $27,400, sent to a place called Redline Custom Cycles LLC. Not rent, not the roof that had been leaking since March. A motorcycle dealership I'd never heard of, for a bike I'd never seen. Paid for with money we'd spent 14 months saving. My name is Ren. I'm 31. In 2 days I was supposed to be on an operating table getting my spine fixed before the nerve damage in my left leg turned permanent. My husband had spent every dollar of that surgery on a motorcycle. I met Silas 6 years earlier at a coworker's barbecue, back when I was new at Bright Paw Animal Hospital and he was the quiet mechanic who fixed his own truck. We married 2 years later in his mother's backyard. He worked as a fleet mechanic, good benefits, steady pay. I lifted 80-pound dogs onto exam tables for a living, and 4 years of that wore a groove into my spine that finally gave out when I bent to steady a struggling Great Dane and felt something tear loose. The MRI showed a herniated disc pressing a nerve hard enough that my left foot had started dragging when I walked. Insurance covered part of it. Not the surgeon I needed, the only specialist within 200 miles who could do the version of the surgery that wouldn't risk permanent nerve damage. Out of network, $27,400, due before they'd even schedule the date. So we opened a savings account and fed it everything we could for 14 months. Skipped vacations, secondhand furniture, a birthday I told him not to bother with. I should have noticed things sooner. 4 months before the account emptied, I found a receipt in his jacket pocket, $300 from a place called Apex Track Gear. He said it was boots and a tool belt. I believed him. I should have noticed the thin white scar across the back of his hand. The one he said was from an old motorcycle accident before we met, before he sold the bike and swore it off for good. I should have noticed how still he went every time a motorcycle passed us on the highway. I called him before I even put my shoes on. Where is the surgery money? I said. No hello. A pause a beat too long. I can explain, he said. You have 2 days. I said. Where is $27,000? He told me to calm down, told me we'd talk when he got home. I told him if he didn't talk right now I'd drive to his shop and do it in front of everyone he worked with, so I did anyway. He met me at the loading dock, wiping grease off his fingers, glancing at 2 coworkers pretending not to listen. Not here, he said. Then where? I said, loud enough one of them flinched. He admitted it in pieces. A motorcycle, a Suzuki Hayabusa, heavily modified, from a guy he knew. An investment, he said, something he could flip for double, then put the money back before I even noticed it gone. You already told me, I said. I know it's gone right now, 2 days before I need a spine surgeon to cut me open. He said he was sorry, in the flat way people say sorry, when what they mean is stop yelling in front of my coworkers. That night I pulled the tarp off it myself in our garage, because he wouldn't show me. Underneath was a bike low to the ground and matte black, stripped of any visible VIN plate. It smelled like new rubber and fresh paint. How much did it actually cost? I asked. All of it, he said. Every dollar. I told him to call the dealership first thing in the morning and get our money back. He came home from that call looking like someone had slapped him. They don't do refunds, he said. It's a final sale kind of place. I asked what kind of place doesn't refund a $27,000 motorcycle. He didn't answer. I told him to go back in person. He came home 2 hours later with a bruise forming on his jaw he wouldn't explain, saying only that the place wasn't what it looked like online. 3 days later, I found a second phone charging behind his toolbox, one he'd never once mentioned owning. Full story is only on Spotify. Search Kole Reads and follow.